Why is it that the relationship is over? The texts have stopped. They've moved on, and yet you're still holding on. You're not holding on to the relationship anymore. You're holding on to the hope that it still meant something. You're holding on to the version of yourself that felt whole with them. Today, I want to help you do what you may have felt impossible. To truly let go and to actually move on. Not by pretending it didn't hurt. Not by distracting yourself with meaningless self-care routines or fake positivity, but by walking you through the real emotional shifts that allow you to take your power back. Let's do this together. Here's the truth that no one tells you. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting them. It doesn't mean the memories disappear. It doesn't mean you wake up tomorrow with zero emotion. Letting go means you stop waiting for that moment when it magically stops hurting. Instead, you make a conscious choice to stop tying your value to someone who's already shown you they're not meant for your future. So often, we keep the wound open, not because we want to suffer, but because suffering makes us feel connected to them. We say things like, "I just need one more conversation. Maybe they'll come back when they realize. I know they still love me deep down." But all those thoughts do one thing: they give your power away. Here's the reframe: I may have loved them deeply, but I love myself enough to walk away from anyone who didn't choose me back. Letting go doesn't say, "It didn't matter." It says, "I matter more." And that's not bitterness, it's self-respect. Let's be honest, most of us aren't mourning the person. We're mourning the fantasy. You're grieving the way you felt in the beginning, the plans you made together, the story you thought your life was becoming. And when that collapses, it doesn't just hurt, it shatters your sense of identity. But here's the thing: if they left, if they gave up, if they couldn't show up for you, that fantasy wasn't real. And you can't build your life on something imaginary. The pain isn't just about what happened. It's about what didn't happen, the life you didn't get to live, the moments that never arrived. But ask yourself, do I want to spend the rest of my life crying over a dream that didn't happen? Or do I want to start building a life that actually will? When you release the fantasy, you stop trying to get closure from a story that was never going to give you a happy ending. And you start writing a new story, one that's real. Let's talk about closure. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is, if they just explain what happened, I could move on. But ask yourself this: if they came back today and said all the right things, would that really make it easier to let go? No, because the pain isn't just about what they did. It's about what you've internalized since they left. You don't need their words, you need your own decision. You need to say, I may not understand everything that happened, but I no longer need answers to heal. Closure is not about getting someone else to finally do right by you. Closure is a moment where you decide, I am no longer giving emotional real estate to someone who isn't paying rent. You stop chasing closure from them, and you start creating peace within yourself. You are not broken. You are not behind. You're not unlovable because someone didn't love you the way you needed. You're human. You feel deeply. You gave your heart. And that's beautiful, but now it's time to come home to yourself. Letting go doesn't mean you never cared. It means you've outgrown the version of you who needed that relationship to feel whole. You've grown into the version of you who understands love is not pain. Missing someone doesn't mean they're meant for you, and your future is far too important to keep mourning a past that's not evolving. So today, not tomorrow, not after they text, not when I'm ready. Today, you let go because you finally realize you're not losing something, you're setting yourself free. Letting go is one of the most misused phrases in personal growth. We talk about letting go like it's a switch, like one day we just wake up, snap our fingers and poof. We're healed, we're over it, we've moved on. But if you've ever been through a real breakup, the kind that shakes your sense of self, you know it doesn't work like that. Because letting go isn't about forgetting someone. It's about reclaiming the power you gave away while you were with them. And after they left, think about this. What hurts more? losing someone or the version of yourself you became to keep them. We hold on not because they were perfect, but because we invested so much time, energy, emotion, identity, and letting go. That feels like letting all of that go to waste, so we hold on to the memories. The what-ifs. The text messages we will read 100 times, the version of the story where maybe if you'd done something different, they would have stayed. But here's the truth, you don't heal by replaying the story. You heal by rewriting it. Letting go means acknowledging that while they were a chapter, they're not your whole book. It means choosing not to let one person's inability to love you the way you needed become the definition of your self-worth. They may have left, ghosted, cheated, faded, or even stayed too long without showing up for you emotionally. But your power isn't in getting them to come back. Your power is in realizing, even if I don't get the ending I wanted, I can still give myself the future I deserve. Letting go isn't passive. It's one of the most powerful acts of self-respect you can commit to. It's not giving up. It's finally deciding you're done begging the past to become something it never was. There's a lie that everyone buys into after a breakup. Time will heal it. And sure, time helps, but let's be honest. How many people do you know who are still hung up on someone from years ago? Time doesn't heal if your identity is still stuck in the version of you that was abandoned, betrayed, or not chosen. Moving on isn't about waiting long enough for the pain to fade. It's about becoming someone new. Someone who no longer relates to the person who tolerated emotional breadcrumbs. Someone who doesn't need to chase love that walks away. Someone who doesn't need their ex to validate the breakup before moving forward. Because when you hold onto your old identity, you're not just reliving the relationship, you're anchored to the emotional version of yourself who thought you weren't enough unless that person loved you back. So what do? You choose who you want to be now. You shift from I was left to I am rising, I was rejected, to I am refining, I lost love, to I'm learning what love really means. And then you act in alignment with that identity. That means you don't reply to the "Hey stranger" texts. You stop looking at their stories like they're a lifeline. You fill your calendar with things that nourish your growth, not reopen your wounds. You don't move on when it stops hurting. You move on when you decide that your future is no longer tied to a moment you've already outgrown. Letting go is painful, but it's not the end. It's the beginning of you remembering who you were before you forgot your value. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about choosing not to carry that pain into your future. You don't need their closure. You don't need their apology. You need your own permission to move forward. We all want closure. We say things like, I just need them to explain what happened. I can't move on until I know why. If they would just apologize, I'd feel better. But what if I told you that waiting for closure from the person who hurt you is just another way of staying emotionally tied to them? Here's what no one tells you. Closure is not something they give you. It's something you give yourself, because most of the time their apology won't make it better. Their explanation won't be good enough. Their regret, if it even shows up, won't undo the damage. The closure you're craving isn't actually about them. It's about needing certainty that your pain meant something, that the time, effort, and love you gave wasn't for nothing. But let's reframe it. What if the lesson itself is the closure? What if the moment they showed you their true colors? The moment they walked away instead of working through it? The moment they chose someone else or chose nothing at all? That was your closure, because that was the moment the universe gave you clarity. You didn't lose something, you got released from something that wasn't right. When you stop needing someone to close the chapter for you, you reclaim the pen. You decide, I'm done checking for someone else's permission to move forward. I'm closing this door not because I hate them, but because I love myself too much to wait outside any longer. And that kind of closure, that's the kind that lasts. Letting go is painful, but it's not the end. It's the beginning of you remembering who you were before you forgot your value. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about choosing not to carry that pain into your future. You don't need their closure. You don't need their apology. You need your own permission to move forward, because the moment you stop needing them to validate your story, that's the moment you finally begin to write a new one, and that version of you. They don't chase people. They don't beg to be chosen. They choose themselves.